Welcome back, VC. It's Alexander from Wax and Wine, and today I wanted to go over a monstrous thrift haul. But before I do, I also wanted to discuss some wine. It's been a while. It's a Sunday. I'm laying back. I'm enjoying a bottle of a wine that no doubt, wherever you are, you've heard of this region, this place. It is historic, is ubiquitous. What am I talking about? Chianti, of course. So, Chianti, we're in Tuscany, we're in central Italy. You're getting some clues from this producer here. This is San Michele a Torri. This is a producer I represent in the state of California, based just outside of Firenze or Florence. And this is Colli Fiorentini, one of 7 subzones of Chianti. So again, central Italy. While they make white wine in the region and they do make rosato or rosé, the main export for this area regarding wine is red. And it is based off the Sangiovese grape. And Sangiovese, the blood of Jove, is your main red grape. You have Colorino and other indigenous grapes. Then you have international grapes that focus in this region, like Merlot. But really, when we're talking Chianti, think Sangiovese. Now, I love this label. This producer, San Michele a Torri, is based 1535, so centuries of tradition here. And they also make insanely high quality olive oil. So in this about 15 to 20 minutes outside of Florence, on your next vacation, make sure you stop by and try some wines. This is a wine I would say you need to be intentional about. I wouldn't just drink this casually. This wine's going to demonstrate a few things. When you taste this wine, you will be feeling an incredible drying sensation, kind of even in a base level to a more intense level. You are going to understand what tannin is. Tannin is that thing that dries out your palate. It is the thing that coats your gums and the sides of your cheeks. This is a thing that is inescapable when we're dealing with Sangiovese. It also has incredible acidity, so while I taste it, I start to salivate. With those two traits, it becomes an incredibly humble partner with food. And so the next time you guys do your Sunday lasagna, maybe bring out a bottle of Chianti. It's a fantastic pairing. Pizzas on a Wednesday night. So this is a wine, although it's only medium bodied, it's a wine that can kind of handle a fuller range of flavors and styles of fare. It is a match with tomatoes and the acidity that is inherent in that fruit. So with that said, cheers to you. Now you know Chianti, Chianti, Chianti. I know you want to say Chianti, but don't say that. And it is a wonderful wine for casual fare to something more serious. It can do the trick. So cheers. All right, let's set the scene, guys. So I'm at my gym. It's a Sunday, few weekends ago, and there is a thrift store across the street. So what is a guy to do? I pop in, and I'm not expecting much, but I see some racks in there and they are foreign to me. Inside, I said, okay, let's start looking. So I'm clearly the first guy on the scene because this record, just being on the outside, wouldn't have survived. And that's Bob Marley and the Wailers, Survival. Now, there's a few things I noticed right away, that this was a laminated, shinier cover. So I thought, okay, this is probably a European pressing. And then it also kind of gave me a clue as to what period, right? This record comes out in 1979. It's not my favorite Bob Marley, but I'm going to be honest, there's not a lot of bad Bob Marley records for me out there. So with them and the Wailers. Now, very quickly behind it was an artist I thought I would take a chance on, right? All the rage due to Stranger Things, and she had her heyday, but it's nice to see that cyclical effect of music, and that's Kate Bush. The Kick Inside, her first record. This is released in 1978. This is also a French pressing. So now I felt pretty safe that I'm dealing with like a whole European collection of records. So now it was about, what am I going to find? Really, really awesome. Happy to have it. All of these records were $4.99. Now this next one was one I thought I would just take a chance on, not because it's super expensive, but it actually made me think like, okay, if a French person has this record, it must be good, right? Like I must be missing something because I see this record a lot in record stores and I never really thought about it. And that's the Blasters. So this record comes out in 1981. It is on Slash Records, right? The same guys who put out the Dream Syndicate. What an incredible record label. But they put out the Blasters. What is this? This is like rockabilly, rock and roll, just really kind of classic, straight ahead stuff. It's by a gentleman named Phil Alvin out of Downey, California. Terrific. From Marie Marie to American Music, that's just the A side. You are peppered with hits. This is really, really fantastic. Not a terribly rare record, not a terribly expensive record, but delightful. In that way, I kind of put it in that same category as like Los Lobos. They're not going to fetch a lot. It's not going to be something that I'm going to be bragging to my friends about, but is it something I'm going to put on a lot? Yeah, for sure. Los Lobos are like one of the best. And that's how I felt about that Blasters record. I'm like, all right, now things are going to start getting a little spicier here. Save for an obnoxious sticker on there and a little bit of damage to the label, we're looking at a very clean pressing here from the late 60s, a 1969 release of Mr. Miles Davis, In a Silent Way. Always loved that photograph. So you have two different pianists taking turns on the electric piano. You have a 3-track record, and we're really pushing the edges with like Wayne Shorter kind of compositions here. Tony Williams on the drums, right? The two pianists are going to be Herbie Hancock, but my other guy, Chick Corea, that's it. Yeah, so fantastic stuff. As the compositions get progressively more intense, right? 3 tracks for an entire LP. What I enjoy is you have Miles' signature sound happening there. And no one said it better than the vinyl shepherd, Dan, who said he's a ballad player, right? This guy has kind of a tone, and he's more akin to Art Farmer, and Chet Baker in his style. So although we're pushing the envelope with our compositions, thanks to other players in the ensemble, right? We're also kind of got a signature sound, and that's a terrific record. There's just no doubts about it. Behind that, Miles Davis, live in Europe. Now this has Cannonball Adderley. This is kind of that earlier period. So again, it's just a record I didn't want to leave behind. It is absolutely terrific jazz. This record might be one of my favorites in there. It's something I'm expecting. If I see a lot of French stuff, and this did have those kind of records, it had the Johnny Holidays and France Gall, and I was hoping and praying that this guy's music would be in there, and there it was, Serge Gainsbourg. So I believe this record comes out in 1978. This has another obnoxious little hype sticker there with the reggae, but what is this? This is Serge Gainsbourg essentially to a reggae beat. And then he has the Threes accompanying him. So that's the wife of Bob Marley, Rita Marley, backing him. And then you have Judy Mowat and Marcia Griffiths. So you have 3 incredible singers in their own right, just backing him in his very sensual and sexual delivery. No one does it really better than Serge Gainsbourg. I think maybe if you're French, you might roll your eyes or you might lean into it. But for me, it's always been a really affecting style. Now, shortly behind that, I saw some other stuff, right? It wasn't just only the hits, but these were the records I took, and I thought they were all delightful. Leonard Cohen, Songs from a Room. This is unbelievable stuff. This is a guy who writes so beautifully and is very affecting as well. Very poignant songwriting. There's not a lot going on. There's not a lot of distraction. It's just kind of really words that are meant to hit you. And very, very great songwriter, lyricist, let's say. Okay, now these next 3 are going to be the last 3, and they are definitely the spiciest. This first one I pulled, I was like, oh boy, cooking with the Miles Davis Quintet. So featuring John Coltrane. I don't have an original US copy to AB it. I have a early copy and I have an Acoustic Sounds reissue, and both are fantastic. So it's nice to kind of play against that and see where this comes out. But damn, that is a hit. And if you can believe it, this next record I'm going to show you isn't even the best record in the collection according to Discogs, but probably one of most of our favorites. This is Miles Davis, Kind of Blue. This is a 1963 French copy, which would be early on in their reissues. They had a different French cover under Barclay Records. The Columbia stereo copy here. Delightful. Absolutely delightful music, right? So What, Freddie Freeloader. We know the songs on here. We know the quintet he's backed with. This is one of those iconic records. It sold the most copies, yada, yada. You've heard the stories. If you don't know Kind of Blue, you know, that is also out there in all forms and guises. So it's not a hard one to find. Yeah, an original copy is going to cost you a lot. It was released in 1959, but whatever. Save for that, you can find a beautiful reissue and just enjoy the music. This last one. Okay, so he had one, whoever this was, had one UK pressing in this collection. From 1973, Dark Side of the Moon. Now you see some sad sticker damage right here, but otherwise we're looking at a very clean copy. A very clean UK copy of Pink Floyd's Dark Side of the Moon. Now, I had to do a lot of research because I didn't know, and first off, I had no idea how rare this was, but this is a second issue of the original 73 pressing. An original will have this triangle shaded in, but that doesn't really matter. It's an incredible find, and so was this collection, and very rarely when I find a bunch of stuff at a thrift store, you know, I'm looking for like maybe trade pieces, something along those lines. But in this case, this is all music I'm going to enjoy and will be probably forever in my collection. Maybe a couple of those records might not last eternity, but most of them are going to be, they're just right in my wheelhouse. So guys, that's it. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you sticking through, and I will see you very soon with another Vinyl Finds. All right, bye-bye.